Okay, and we are live.
All
Hello,
right.
people of the class. Uh, for my playthrough project, I'm going to be playing this game, Pac-Man World 2. But I am not alone. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. This is Pete Conlon. I'm one of the senior artists that made Pac-Man World 2. Um, Glad to be here. Thanks, Jackie.
It's really great having you here. Uh, Actually, do you want to suggest what level I should play?
I'm actually
If you like,
this is great that it's great to find out that people are still playing this game that we made so many years ago. Uh, it's really cool to hear from fans. But um, it's been a while for me. I'm actually watching a YouTube video somebody made of a speed playthrough, uh, and it's bringing back a lot of memories. It's very cool.
I
Uh,
see.
I I don't know what level do you want to what level? What's
Well,
your
I guess
favorite
I'll,
level?
even though Pack Village is not much of a level, it'll give me a chance to explain this game a little bit, how it works.
Okay,
So, you
cool.
play as Pac Man, you can run around, you can jump, you can do this move called the butt bounce, you can do this, the flip kick, which actually isn't used all that much, and the Rev Roll, which is like Sonic's Spin Dash. You can collect dots and fruits. This area right here isn't much of a level. It's pretty much just a place you can just run around for fun and just sort of get used to the controls.
Yeah, we that level was considered the hub, and we were going to I don't I forget. I'm sorry, it's been so many years, but we were going to return to that level and get more information, and you would send you back out into the world. But I think we ended up using a map instead, and
Interesting.
that village was much bigger at first, but we had to sort of shrink it down and condense it because of the game engine wasn't a
I
good
see.
free roaming, a big free roaming level. We needed lots of walls, and we needed to uh, keep the camera from seeing too far into the distance because it would crash.
Uh, well, for the first standard level, I'll be playing Bedoing Woods, the first level of the second world.
All right,
Uh,
Doing Woods.
so
That was the lead artist, and that was Ken McCall. He was he's a great guy. He very not just a good artist, but also could jump in and fix some code every rare.
ah, something I always liked about this level is something I hear a lot of people criticize about this game is the camera. But I honestly
Yeah,
never felt the camera was that bad, and in this level in particular, I feel like the way the camera is the way it's positioned is pretty clever. Uh, because here on I'm jumping from branch to branch, and the camera follows Pac-Man by revolving around the tree.
right.
And I also like how when you bounce on the bedoings, the camera positions itself directly above Pac-Man, so you can see exactly what's below you.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of a high. It's not quite a free roaming camera, and it's not quite on rails. It's sort of a hybrid,
Yeah,
and it
it's
was
like
it was tricky to get to work right because I remember it wouldn't always behave, but I think they finally kind of got it to work.
that's good
Some
that they got
levels,
to work.
yeah, some levels it was trickier than others. This one definitely was tough. I remember the camera would also shift up and look directly down as you're bouncing on the trampolines, in
Yeah,
addition to rotating around the trees. And you just didn't want it to swing through a tree. Try to watch Pac-Man
yeah.
with objects.
Uh, the, I forgot what I was about to say. Oof. Um, oh
Are you
yeah,
playing? Are
is
you still playing the Bedoins?
yeah. I'm almost at the
Okay,
end of the level.
great.
Then I just plummeted to my death.
Oh no.
Something I like is how this is sort of like this is a forest area, and you but it doesn't really feel like any other like forest area in any other game. Uh, since you're really like high above the ground.
Right.
It
That probably was a result of like us trying to work with the engine, not being able to see a lot of geometry. I think that uh, it was a way of avoiding having to put too much ground details of the ground in. Like the trees are just so tall that they disappear into a void,
uh
and that was a sort of a trick, a way of not having to deal with too.
I see. Uh, I'm gonna play Blade Mountain now.
Okay.
But is there any like what part what parts of the game are you like like you said you're like an art like designer, right? What did you design for
I
this game?
well, I'm a I was an art I was a senior, so I was a senior art I was the lead artist on Miss Pac-Man Maze, and I moved over to the Pac-Man World One team, started from day Pac-Man World Two. So I'm an artist mainly. We did some of our own level design out of necessity, but we also had a system uh, of the rhythm of the mechanics and the challenge and the enemy non-player character. So we had designers that were just designers. Hey, we should do a, a snow bear or whatever here, and so we worked with what are called who focus more the rhythm and the spacing of things. We It was up to us to actually design, like to build the levels, to physically make the rocks and the cliffs and trees, and space them out, and you know where things curved and where cliffs were and stuff like that. So that was up to us. Um, so that's what I did. I created the art. I uh, I did a lot of the initial concept art, like a lot of drawings and stuff to build the what we call the Bible, the design Bible, which would have um, which would describe to other artists like how things in the Pac-Man universe look, how the enemies look, how the trees and the buildings look.
Yeah, I
So that
remember the last time we did this, he said something interesting about things like the pack bears, about how
yeah, we tried to really keep we tried to make we tried to keep everybody, all the artists, making when they're building things, to make it feel like they belonged in the Pac-Man universe. So it was occasionally people would start making um, they would start straying. They would make like a mountain goat look like an goat. We wanted to make it look more like a pack goat. You know, it should be round and it should be, maybe it
Yeah,
doesn't have four legs, two, but it looks kind of like a goat from our world. Definitely not from our from pack. So that was something that's something we try to continually get the artist to fall in line with. You don't want you want it to feel consistent, believable as its own.
yeah. As someone who's I'm sort of making, I've been like sort of working on my own project. I
Hmm.
haven't exactly publicly like revealed it yet, but I will say that like I have sort of like rules of like how things how certain things should look. Like uh one example is that without giving away too much detail, there are ghosts and witches in this project, and a rule I have is that like witches is only have red eyes, and ghosts all can only have like no pupils.
Ah,
So it's like
interesting.
sort of like rules that can't be broken for how
Right.
things should look.
Yeah, you want to keep it consistent so that uh, the player is given sort of cues as to what to expect, that they could play without feeling, you know, like the
Like
so they
something's
feel like they
out
have a
of
chance.
place.
Right, they have a chance of figuring things out, maybe winning the
Yeah,
game or the level or whatever.
I like how like the Pac-Man characters have pie eyes.
Yeah, that
Uh,
goes that goes way back to the early days.
yeah, it's like Pac-Man had pie eyes since like the original arcade art.
Yeah,
At least in Japan, the U.S. got like a weird thing that had like giant red eyes and no arms
yeah,
uh, for the arcade art. But Japan got like is like he pretty much Pac-Man pretty much just looked like how he does in World 2 and like, World 1 and other games.
right.
So yeah, I'm glad I like that the Pac-Man World 1 and 2 that keep consistency by having like new characters and enemies still have those pie eyes.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely part of it. The eyes were iconic. That visual sort of language throughout.
Also, the level I'm playing now is Into the Volcano, and something neat about this level is that it has ooh, I died. It
Oh,
has the pukas from Dig Dug.
oh yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
I know puka. They're enemies here, but I remember in I died again. I remember in Pac-Man World 1, there was one puka and you had to rescue him.
Ah, right. I think this level was done by James Darknell. I'm trying to remember, and Chris DiMartini maybe. Forgetting. It was. Forgive me. It was years ago.
That's fine. Uh, so we are almost out of time. So
Okay.
any
Well, are you? Did you
any
get?
last
Did
things you'd like to say?
No, I'm stoked that you found me and that you still play this game and that you it means a lot to you. And I never imagined this many years later that people would still even know this game existed. So it's great to hear
Yeah,
from
it's
you.
kind of gotten a cult following in more recent years.
That's wild.
Yeah, there are a lot of fans really want like the world games to come back, either like in the form of a remake, like what Crash and Spyro have
Right.
gotten, or just a completely new game.
It would be really cool to work with one of these new engines, and all the texture and geometry you can work with on it. I think I would love to do that, make a really sort of high end next gen version of Pac-Man World
Yeah,
with much more elaborate environments.
yeah, it'd be really great. And I guess I'll end it on me falling off and dying.
Oh no. Okay. Well, thanks
Well,
for having me, Jackie.
hmm?
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure having you.
Awesome.
Well, thank you,
Good luck
thank
with
you
your
for
class.
being willing to do this with me.
No problem. Glad to help.
Well,
Is
this
your recording?
is the end of the video.